Okay, welcome students. Get ready to solve October-November 5054 paper 1 variant 1 of 2025 with TPS. This is the most recent paper you can say of the time which is available right now. October-November 2025 paper. P1 we are going to solve. In this paper you have 40 questions and you can take the value of G as 9.8 Newton per kilogram. So we are going to solve this paper. The very first question is object is placed against a ruler. You can see here object X is placed. You have to measure, I think, the length of this. This ruler is placed against another ruler to measure the end correction. So if you see in this case, in this question, this part is not going to be calculated because 0 is starting from here. The 0 mark is starting from here, so you have to correct this end part. So what they are doing, they are finding here by using this ruler, this part, that how much this length is. So they are asking what is the length of the object. So this portion from the end of the meter rule to this 0, it is of 0.2 length. You can see here from this scale, this is 0.2. This is 0.2. So object is going till 1.1. So you have to add this 0.2 because it is not going to be measured. Because from 0 to this 1.1, we are measuring the length from this scale, and this 0.2 is going to be measured from this scale. So you are going to add these, you student. What happened, हमें इस ऑब्जेक्ट x की ये लेंथ इस स्केल से मिली है 0 to 1.1, और ये जो ये पार्ट था जिसपे कोई रीडिंग नहीं थी, कोई स्केल नहीं आ रहा था, वो हमने इस स्केल से, इस मीटर रूल से मेजर की, that is 0.2. So you have to add these two values, you will be getting 1.3 centimeter. So C is the answer here. Moving to next question. Quantities can be described as scalar or vector. Which row shows scalar quantities and vector quantities? And you know, vector is having direction as well. And both the quantities have magnitude, but vector is the one which is going to have the direction as well. So distance, mass, and temperature. These are basically the scalar quantities. They are not going to have any direction. They only have magnitude. Magnitude means size, value. Whereas displacement, force, weight, these three are the vector quantities. Vector quantities mean magnitude as well as direction. As well as direction. So D part is correct. Other options are wrong. You can see here this is vector, vector, and scalar. So it is not going to be scalar quantities. Displacement is vector, mass is scalar, force is vector. So all the quantities should be scalar, and here all the quantities should be vector. Now question number 3, this is a good question in this paper. The diagram shows speed time graph. I always suggest my students to see which graph is given. So this graph is speed time graph for two objects. Moving with uniform acceleration means constant acceleration. Acceleration is constant. And I tell again here one thing, that whenever speed time graph is given, students forget this thing, speed time graph is given, never go to use the formula. Use gradient in speed time graph. Use gradient to find acceleration. One thing. And use area under the graph. Area under the graph to find distance or displacement. Distance or displacement. So you have to remember these 2 points, that when to use area under the graph and when to use the gradient only for speed time graph or velocity time graph. So what you will be getting, physical quantity, acceleration, distance, and speed time graph of two objects moving with uniform acceleration, that is given. You can see A student uses the graphs to make two conclusions. Two conclusions they are going, student is going to form. Distance traveled by object P is 26 meter less than the distance traveled by object Q. In this statement, the student is saying object distance traveled by object Q is 26 meter less, which is equal to distance, the distance traveled by object P is 26 less than the distance traveled. So we have to see is this thing going to be right or not. हो क्या रहा है वो कह रहा है कि ऑब्जेक्ट P ने जो डिस्टेंस कवर किया है वो 26 मीटर क्या है लेस है देन द 20 देन द डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल्ड बाय ऑब्जेक्ट Q. So it is speed time graph, so you have to find the area under the graph to find the distance. So this is the area for object P. Here is the area for object Q. You can see object P. So 1 over 2, base is 4, height is 6, distance is going to be 12 meter here. Here 1 over 2, base is 5, height is just 10. So it will be 25. So you can see the difference. It is 11 meter. Sorry, 13 meter is the difference. So it is not going to be a difference of 26 meters. So this statement is wrong. Now acceleration of P is 0.5 meter per second square, 5 meter per second square, less than the acceleration of object Q. So dear students, you have to find the gradient of this. You will be getting the acceleration of Q. So acceleration of Q will be, if I find the gradient, it will be 10 minus 0 divided by 5 minus 0. So the acceleration will be 2 meter per second square for object Q. In the same way, you can find the acceleration for this by finding the gradient. So it will be 6 minus 0 divided by 4 minus 0. You will be getting 1.5 meter per second. So you can see here the difference is of how much? The difference is of 0.5 meter per second square. So this statement is right. So which conclusions are correct? Only 2 is correct. So 2 only. C is the right option here. Moving to next question. Again, speed time graph is given. Which speed time graph represents the motion of a railway train making a short stop? The train is going to stop for a short time at a station. Okay? So graphs are given. According to this scenario, what is going to happen at the at the first, you can say speed was constant, train is moving. Then the train is going to stop, the speed is going to decrease, and when the train is going to stop for a while, it becomes zero, speed becomes zero here. So I can make a graph here somewhere like this. No, it should be here. X-axis should be here like this. So here it is 0. Here I'm having time in seconds. So you can say speed in meter per second. Initially, train is moving with some speed. Then it applies brake to stop. And then it becomes to rest for a short stop. And then again it might moves. So what happens? Its speed starts increasing. So the graph should be somehow like this. So in a graph, you can see speed is there and then it decreases, and then it not come to zero. There is some speed. So this is wrong. This graph is wrong. So in this case, again, you can see here is some speed. When train is going to stop, speed will be zero. Speed will be 0 meter per second when short stop is going to be formed. So here is some speed. The graph is saying speed is decreasing, decreasing, and here it becomes 0. And after short stop, the train is again going to move. So C is right. It is somehow this graph. So moving to question number 5. This is a good question, new question. The diagram shows an athlete doing press ups on a floor. The athlete is using both hands. So one condition is this: the area of contact of each hand with floor is S. So area of contact of each hand is given. The athlete's toes as a pivot. So we are going to make it as a pivot. So this is a fixed point. So I can say here I'm having a fixed point, and this is a person, you can see. During each press up, the athlete's weight, you can say center of gravity, acts at the through point X. So here is a weight. So here is weight acting W. The distance between his toes and point X. Here we have a toe, you can say a pivot. From here till here, the distance is going to be, here is a point X. The distance is 3/4 of the distance. 3/4 means 3 by 4. This is 3/4 of the distance between his toes and shoulder. Means this is distance L. I suppose this distance is L. Here is a shoulder S. So this distance is L. So the distance between toe and X is 3 by 4L. This statement is indicating this. So here it is little trick. You have to find the distance from here, from this statement. The distance between, I am again repeating, his toes and point X is 3/4 of the distance between his toes and the shoulder. So we have to form this type of diagram, free body diagram. Again, I show here that this distance will be 3 by 4 times L because the total length I am taking. So what is the pressure exerted on the palm of each of athletes? Not all, sorry, both of the hands, each. So here, pressure is going to be equal to F over area. So what is the force here? Or you can say weight here. We have to calculate it. So it is going to push in the upward direction here. So force is going to be in this way. Weight is also a force. So by using moment, principle of moment, we will be finding this. Principle of moment, we will be finding this force F. So what principle says clockwise moment is equal to counterclockwise moment. So dear students, this F is going to create a clockwise moment. So I say clockwise moment is F multiplied by L because I am taking this L as a distance. And there is one more force that is W and its distance is this. Moment is equal to force multiplied by distance. So which is equal to weight, that is W multiplied by 3 by 4. So we have to find this F. So F is equal to 3 by 4 LW divided by N. Let me make this again like this. So this is this L and this L cancelled out. So the force is 3 by 4 W. This is the force which is acting here. 3 by 4 W. So it is acting for both hands. So what is the force on one hand? So you are going to divide this force. This is the total force, total. So what we are going to do, force of each hand is equal to 3 by 4 W divided by 2. So it becomes what? 3 by 8 W. 3 by 8 W. So here we are going to substitute this equation 3 by 8 W divided by area of each hand is given, that is S. So this pressure will be equal to 3 times weight, or you can say W divided by 8S. So this is going to be B, right option. This is a very good question. Somehow similar question like this, not the exact this one, but having the concept of two topics. Here the concept is of principle of movement and pressure. Two topics are going to be covered in this question. Similarly, two topics were covered in the same movement question in the paper. I think it was a paper of October, November 23. So a very good question again, I would say. Moving to question number 6. A parachutist falls towards the ground at constant speed. So when speed is constant, it means acceleration is zero. And as the parachutist falls. So when parachutist is falling, it means forces are balanced. Which forces are going to be balanced? Upward and downward force. Upward is going to be air resistance and downward will be the weight. They are going to be equal. So due to this, resultant force will become zero. Resultant force will be zero. If resultant force is zero or acceleration is zero, because according to Newton's second law, they are directly proportional to each other. If acceleration is zero, it means force is zero. If resultant force is zero, it means acceleration is zero. So which statement is correct? So there are no forces acting on the no forces. Resultant force is zero here. Forces are acting upward and downward. Okay. The upward force on the parachute is equal to the weight of the parachute. Yes, this is possible. This is the reason why it is moving with constant speed and acceleration is zero. The C option is saying greater, no, not possible. Upward force is less, no. So, question number 7. A student measures the density of an irregularly shaped stone. So, irregularly shaped stone density, density is equal to mass over volume, mass per unit volume. So, mass can be determined by using balance, electronic balance, and volume can be measured by using measuring cylinder because it is an irregular shaped stone measuring cylinder. Okay, so which items of equipments are needed? We need balance. Okay, a measuring cylinder containing water. Yes, here is a measuring cylinder filled with water. We will insert stone in this. What happens due to this? The level of the water will rise and we will be finding the volume here. Once we will get the volume, mass, you can find that. Ruler is not going to be used. Only A is right here. So moving towards next question. The table shows how the extension of a spring varies with load. Okay. You know Hooke's law? Hooke's law says load is directly proportional to extension. In other words, you can say load is a force is directly proportional to extension. Which means if force is increasing, extension will increase, or you can say when extension is increasing, force will increase. So that data is given. You can see when load is 0, extension is 0. When load is 2, extension is 3, means 2 Newton is increased. When load is 4, again 2 Newton is increased, extension is 6. So 3 centimeter change is occurring here. When load is further increased 2 Newton, then again 3 centimeter extension. When again 2 Newton is further increased, again 3 centimeter change is occurring in the length, you can say extension of the spring. When again 2 Newton is increased, again 3 centimeter change is occurring. When again 2 Newton is increased, 10 to 12 Newton the load is going to be, then my dear students, the change is now not 3 centimeter, it becomes 5 centimeter. So it means at this force, at a force of 12 Newton, at a force of 12 Newton, spring is not obeying this condition of Hooke's law. Spring is not obeying Hooke's law. So between which two loads is the limit of proportionality? Limit of proportionality, a point till which Hooke's law is obeyed. A point till which Hooke's law is obeyed. Hooke's law is obeyed. So you have to remember this. So this is a point you can say between 10 and 12 Newton. So between this, you can say a limit of proportionality is occurring. So C is the right option between 10 and 12 because here they are following the Hooke's law. Hooke's law is obeyed. So at point C, limit of proportionality is going to be. Okay, students, now we are on question 9. A man stands on the surface of the earth. You can see here. The weight of the man is the gravitational force that acts on him. Means this weight is basically the gravitational force that acts on him due to the earth. This weight is due to the gravitational field strength of earth. According to Newton's third law, the weight of the man is one force in a pair of forces. You know what is Newton's third law? That two forces of equal magnitude but opposite in direction. But opposite in direction. These conditions are important. Means there should be two pair forces having same magnitude, equal size, or you can say magnitude, but opposite in direction. So if you see here, the weight of the man is one force, this one. The other pair force, which force is the other force in pair? The other pair force will be the force which is going to act in the upward direction. And that will be a force upward on earth because this force is acting downwards and the other force is going to be upwards on the earth. So you have to see here the force downwards. No, downwards is weight, downward is weight. So A and B are wrong. So C is a force upwards on the earth. This is going to create a Newton's, you can say, third law applicable here. Weight of the man, this is one force which is downwards, the other force which is going to be upward, that will be on the earth. You know, for these two forces which are going to be in pair, there must be two objects, not a single object. Two objects are going to be there. So C is right. Moving to question number 10. The pressure and volume of a sample of gas at constant temperature are measured and plotted on a graph. In simple words, this statement is saying, dear students, about that pressure and volume. So you can see here at this point on the graph, the volume is 5 times 10 power minus 5 meter cube. This is the volume. I name it as V1. And at this point, when this volume is there, pressure is 30 kilopascal. I name it as P1. Pressure is 30 kilopascal, so I can make it kilo 10 power 3 pascals. The pressure is decreased to this. Now the pressure is decreased. I name it, this is a new pressure. You can say P2. P2 is how much? 12.5 times 10 power 3 pascals. What is the new volume? I name it as V2. The new volume we have to find. This is a question mark for us. So you can use ratio method or the formula you have to remember P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So in this question we have to find the new volume, that is V2. So if you substitute the values, pressure P1 is 30 times 10 power 3 and volume 1 is 5 times 10 power minus 5 is equal to this P2 is going to be divided here. It will be 12.5 times 10 power 3 P2. So if you solve this in your calculator, you will be getting, if I solve this, you will be getting A option. So hope so this is clear. Moving to question number 11. The diagram shows a solid metal block. Which equation is used to calculate the density of the metal from which the block is made? You must know the formula of density. Density is equal to mass per unit volume. So it is going to be B option. Simple, straight question. Okay. In this question, a student balances a non-uniform object on a pivot. You can see this is a pivot. Pivot is a fixed point. To do this, A weight is suspended near the left hand end of the object. You can see here weight is hanged on the left side. If there is no weight, or you can say this weight is not hanged, what happens? It will fall. It is not going to be balanced. It means its center of gravity is lying somewhere here. Its center of gravity is lying somewhere on this side, on the right side. And you can see at, at the right side of this object, there is a greater area, greater mass, you can say. So, where is the center of gravity of the object? If this object is pivoted at C and weight is hanged here so that it can be balanced, it can be in equilibrium state. So, it means its center of gravity is somewhere here at D. If weight is not going to be there, it will rotate like this. It will create a moment in the clockwise direction. So D is right option. Question 13. Seven energy sources are listed. Okay. How many of these energy sources are renewable energy sources? Renewable energy resources are the one which can be replenished again. Replenished. Which can be used again. So the very common is hydroelectric. Means electricity produced due to fall of uh, water, or you can say flowing of water. So this one is possible. Solar, the energy produced from the sun. It is abundant in source. Too much sunlight is there at daytime. So nuclear is not possible. Fossil fuel is not possible. Geothermal, yes, this energy is possible. Heat from within the earth, heat within the earth that is available. So this is possible. Wind is possible. So tides are possible. Wind is due to moving air. Tides is due to ocean. Energy from the ocean tides that are also present. Waves are there. So five energy resources are renewable. So C is right. Okay, now we are, dear students, on question number 14. Question number 14 says a student heats a substance in which the particles are in fixed position and vibrate. So it is going to be, you can say, a solid. In this way, particles are arranged. Particles are arranged. Okay, heat is student heats a substance. Okay, heat is given to this substance. After a short period of heating, the particles start to flow past each other. Particles start to flow past each other. Flow can be possible in liquids. Okay, but the forces between the particle remain strong. It means it is not changed to liquid. It is just changing the state from solid to liquid, means it is melted, might. Okay, what has happened to the substance? Yeah, it has condensed, it has evaporated, it has frozen. No, it has melted. Yes, because particles start to flow past each other. Means the particles are not fixed in position now. They are just going to past each other, flow past each other. So it is a melting stage. Okay, dear students, now question 50. A student investigates how changing the temperature of a gas affects the volume of the gas. So from this statement, remember temperature is directly proportional to volume. If temperature increases, volume of the gas is going to increase. Or you can say volume increases, what happens? Temperature is going to vary. So here we will see the gas is kept at constant pressure. Which graph shows the relationship between temperature and the volume of a sample at constant pressure? Okay, here you can see As the temperature is increasing, volume is decreasing. Here you can see as temperature is increasing, volume is decreasing. And here as temperature is increasing, no effect is occurring on volume. So all these three are wrong. So here what is happening? Initially gas is having some volume. Suppose this is I am having a cylinder, and in this cylinder you have a movable piston. This is a movable piston. Here are gas molecules. This is the volume, you can say. I start heating it, or you can say increasing the temperature, this piston will move, so volume starts increasing. As temperature is increasing, volume will start increasing. So A is right. Okay, a sample of solid melts and become a liquid. Which statement about the sample during the process of melting is correct? Okay, during the process means state is changed from solid state to liquid state. Object, the change is occurring. In this process, somewhere between, you remember that temperature does not change. Temperature remains same, remain constant. The reason is some energy is going to be utilized by particles to break their intermolecular forces, to break intermolecular forces. Or you can say some energy is utilized to break the bond between molecules, break the bond between molecules or particles. So temperature should remain constant. So its temperature changes from negative to positive, not possible. Its temperature is constant, yes, possible. Two forces between its particles become stronger. The forces between its particles, no. And temperature is not changing. The kinetic energy of the particle increases. The solid is just melted during the process we are talking. In the melting stage, kinetic energy of the particle is not going to increase. It is constant. So B is right here. Question number 17. Four metal cans are identical except for the color and the texture. Means their color is different and texture is different of their outer surfaces. 100 centimeter cube of water at 70 degree is poured into each can. Means 70 degree Celsius water is going to be added in this. A water of temperature 70 degrees added in this, in this, and in this. Which cools the most rapidly? Okay, remember one thing that dark colors, dark colors are good absorber and good emitter as well. One thing. Same is that rough surface because texture can be rough, shiny. So rough surface also absorb less heat and emit the heat. Less heat is absorbed and less emission is going to. So here black and rough, black and shiny. Shiny is a reflector as well. It is a reflector, so it is not suitable. Rough is not a reflecting surface. So white is not possible. So A is here suitable, dark color and rough surface. Question number 18. The sentences describe sound waves. Three words have been omitted. Sound waves are longitudinal waves, okay, that consist of regions of higher pressure called higher pressure, where higher pressure is occurring, compression will. molecules are closer together. Region of lower pressure is going to be rarefaction. Molecules are far apart. An echo occurs when sound wave is reflected. Reflection is going to be a reflect. So we have to see which words complete gaps. Okay, you have to see this pattern: compression, rarefaction, and reflected. So A is here. Okay, moving to question 19. A ray of light strikes a plane mirror at an angle of incidence of 20 degree. Okay, suppose here I'm having a plane mirror. This is a plane mirror. Incident light is dropped here. This is incident light. Here I'm having a normal line. This is angle 20 degree, angle of incidence. Reflection is going to occur. Plane mirror, so reflection is going to occur. This is a reflected light. Okay, the angle of incidence is then increased by 5 degree. Okay, now I'm going to draw a new ray. Here it is 5 degrees increased. So this angle total becomes now 25 degree. I'm going to erase this black. 5 degree increase is done. So the total angle is now 25 degree. It means here again 25 degree is the angle of reflection. Okay, what is the new angle between incident ray and the reflected ray? This is incident ray, this is reflected ray. So angle between these two, 25 plus 25, it becomes 50. So D is the answer. Okay, moving to question 20. This is the question 19 and 20. They are repeated questions. They were in the previous exams as well. The following lists show colors of spectrum. Colors of spectrum are Roy, G, Bev. Red, orange, yellow, and so on, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Which list shows these colors in order of increasing frequency? Increasing frequency. Increasing, red is having greatest wavelength and frequency is smaller. As you go from red to onwards till violet, frequency will increase because here wavelength is smaller. So red, orange, yellow, it is not possible. Yellow, green, blue, and violet. Indigo is missing, so D is right, by the way. So you have to remember this pattern in my lessons. If you watch my lessons of regarding light, you can see that this is explained there. Question 21. An object O is placed near to a thin converging lens. The diagram shows three rays of light from the object passing through the lens. One ray is this, second, and third. Which row describes the image formed and gives the position of principal focus? Principal focus is also known as focal point from where light ray converges. So, dear students, this R is focal point, or you can say principal focus, and image formed is this one. This image is known as real, inverted, and it is smaller in size as compared to objects. We name such images as diminished or small size. So image is real and point is R. So A is right here. Image formed is real, position is R. Okay. Moving to question 22. In which diagram is the path of light ray not correct? Okay, before jumping into the options, I tell you one thing. When ray move from dense to less dense, what happens? Ray bends away from normal, away from normal. And when ray move from less dense to dense, ray bends towards normal, towards normal. So keep these 2 points in your mind and see where this thing is not occurring. Water is denser, air is less dense. If I draw a normal line here, it is going away from the normal. Going away from the normal. This option is correct, by the way. Again, if you see here, I draw a normal here. Total internal reflection is a thing. This is also right, by the way. Yeah, it is right. If you see here, it will pass straight. Here I draw a normal line, dense to less dense. It is going away from the normal. Yes, it is right. Question number 22D option is going to be possible. You can see here, if I draw a normal somewhere here at this point, like this, ray should move, or you can say bend towards the normal, and it is going away. And in this case, if I draw a normal line here, it should go away from the normal, but it is not going to that side. It is going along the normal. So this is wrong. D is correct option for question 22. This is not according to the rule. So question 23, again this question is, you can say, a repeated question. A ray of light travels from X to Y along an optical fiber. The angle of incidence at Y is greater than critical angle. Angle of incidence when greater than critical angle. Remember, total internal reflection will occur. Total internal reflection will, as they are saying, it is a good question. Angle of incidence at Y, here we have Y, is greater than critical angle. So this path is going to be which one? This ray is coming, incident ray. So C is possible because where total internal reflection occur, angle of incidence should be equal to angle of reflection. Moving to question 24. A firework is launched vertically from the ground. Here we have a ground. This is vertically that firework is launched. When the firework reaches a height of 360 meter, height is given 360 meter. Here somewhere fireworks goes. The fireworks explodes, producing colored light. A student on the ground below the firework incorrectly measures the time between seeing the colored light and hearing the explosion. Okay, that time is given. E is equal to 1.8 seconds. What is the speed of the sound that the student's value suggests? Okay, values are given, so you know speed is equal to distance over time. 360 is the height, distance, so divided by 1.8, you will be getting the result in meter per second. So if I divide these two values, I get 200. A is the right option. Moving to question 25, a loudspeaker produces a sound wave of frequency 50 Hz. The amplitude of the sound wave is increased. If amplitude is increased, it means louder sound will be there. Louder sound. Volume is increased. What is heard? A louder sound with same pitch, because frequency is same, so frequency is directly proportional to pitch. So louder sound of same pitch. B is right option. Question 26. A bar magnet is placed on a sheet of paper. Here we have a bar magnet. The diagram shows the field lines due to the magnet. A soft iron bar is placed on the paper on the rectangle marked WZ. Here it is. Soft iron bar becomes an induced magnet. Okay, where are the magnetic poles at the end of the soft iron bar? Soft iron bar. Okay, here we have a magnet. This is north pole. Here we have south pole. I place some soft iron here. So you know magnetic field is going to be from north to like this. In south, it is going to be in the inward direction, north to south, originating from north and like this, like this, like this, like this. So what happens at this side, south pole will be created because this field is going to be like this. So here it will be north. So W end will be north, Z is going to be south. So it should be pole at W is north. Yeah, it will be B option. Simple question. Moving to question 27. Which material is an electrical conductor at room temperature? Glass is not possible, plastic not possible, rubber is not. These are insulator. So aluminium is electrical conductor. Question 28. A student investigates electrostatic charge using a balloon and a cloth. The balloon and cloth are initially uncharged. Uncharged means protons equal to electrons. The student rubs the balloon with the cloth. The balloon gains negative charge. Okay, here I am having a balloon, and here you can see this is a cloth. Balloon gains negative charge. It means it is having excess amount of negative charges of magnitude q. Cloth becomes charged and a force act between the balloon and the cloth. Okay, it means if it is negatively charged, cloth some positive charge. Electrons from this move to this balloon. Which rho describes the magnitude and sign of the charge. Magnitude will be same, it will be equal to Q. Sign is going to be positive, and the type of force it is going to be attractive because opposite charges are there, positive and negative. So magnitude of cloth will be equal. These are not possible. They are greater saying. Sign of charge on cloth will be positive. So I think A, yes. 28 is A. Moving to question 29. A student connects four circuits using two identical cells. Okay. Two identical resistors and a motor. Okay. These are the components. Two cells, two resistors, and a motor. So this is the symbol of motor. Dear students, remember the symbol of motor like this. And this is the symbol for resistor. And this is the symbol for cell. In which circuit does the coil of motor rotate fastest? Where current will be greater? Where current will be greater. Okay. So, dear students, it is a series circuit. If you add these two resistance, total resistance will increase, so current will be smaller in this circuit. Current will be smaller in this circuit because resistance will increase, current will decrease. Here the resistors are connected in parallel. So here total resistance will decrease, so current will increase according to I is equal to V over R, Ohm's law. Here again it is in series, so not possible. A is not possible, C is not possible. In D, they are connected in parallel, but their voltage is going to be less. In series, what happens? They are going to be add up. If it is 3 volt, it is 3 volt, it becomes 6 volt. And I is here directly proportional to voltage. If you see here, if it is 3 volt, here also it will be 3 volt because in parallel, voltage remains same. So B is the suitable answer here to move this motor fastest. Question number 30. The diagram shows a lightning strike. Charge flows between the cloud and objects on the ground. Okay, here some charge is flowing. During the lightning strike, there is a current, okay, that is 2.8 times 10 power 4 ampere between the cloud and the house for 52 milliseconds. My dear students, sometimes students read it as meter second. This is milli prefix. So time will be 52 times 10 power minus 3 seconds. So how much charge flows during lightning? You know, I is equal to Q over T, rate of flow of charges. Q is charge. We have to find this. So it becomes Q is equal to IT. So substitute the values and then use your calculator. You will be getting the answer. So if I calculate this, the charge will be 1500 coulombs approximately. It is 1400 something, but it will be 1500. Moving to question 31. Two current carrying conductors means conductors in which current is flowing are placed next to each other. The current in the conductor is in the same direction. Okay, so you have to remember when current is flowing in the same direction between two conductors, what happens? What happens? You have to remember that they attract each other. Attraction is going to occur. So you can see how it is possible. Which statement about forces experienced by the conductors is correct? Okay, forces. Which forces? Magnetic force. Magnetic field, first of all, you have to identify. Then you can tell what happens to magnetic force. So, how you can determine this? You have to use right hand grip rule. Right hand grip rule. What this rule says, thumb represents direction of current. Thumb represents direction of current. And curl of fingers represents direction of field. Direction of field. So dear students, if I draw magnetic field for one conductor, it will be that thumb should be upwards and the curl will occur in the direction of anti-clockwise, like this, like this. So direction is important, like this. And here I'm having the other conductor. Again, the magnetic field is going to be anti-clockwise, like this. So field is coming from this in the downward direction, and from here it is going upwards. So you can see direction is opposite direction of magnetic field, or you can say of magnetic force. So due to this, they attract each other. What happens here? We make a loop here. Which loop? Like this. Like this. That field is coming and it takes this path. Like this. If I redraw this hole, I show you what is happening here. It is little tricky for the students in understanding way. Otherwise, this is very easy rule to understand what is happening. It is straightforward question. This is one conductor, and here we have the other one. This one. So magnetic field is going to be like this, and like here I draw this. The directions are what? Direction is like this, like this, like this, like this. These are the directions, anti-clockwise. If I draw another here, the field, you can see the force is going like this, and the one which is going in this way, they attract in this way. So it becomes like this. It is going in this, but the other field of the second conductor, it will attract it. So this will be the direction. So here the forces are in opposite directions and the conductors are forced towards each other, means they will attract each other, forced to come near to each other. So D is right here. Question 32. Which component is not needed to make a simple DC motor work? Okay, brushes are required, battery is required, diode is not required, split rings are required. So C is not needed. Diode is not. possible. So moving to question 33, which component is used in electric circuit to detect changes in temperature? That is thermistor. So you must know the symbol of thermistor. It is B here. Question 34, a kettle of power 2 kilowatt. Power is given. 2 kilowatt means 2000 watt. Kilo means 10 power 3 means 1000. Is powered by the 230 main supply. Voltage is given 230 volt. Okay. What is the appropriate rating for the fuse of the circuit? Fuse rating in terms of current. So you know power is equal to VI. Find the current. I is equal to P over V. It will be 2000 divided by 230. So you can find the current. That is going to be somehow, let's calculate it. 200 divided by 23, it is 8.69 ampere. So we keep fuse rating little high, so that this much current can easily pass. So C is right here. Question 35 now. A student uses simple iron core transformer. The primary coil has 250 turns, NP. The secondary coil has 200 turns, NS. The input voltage to the primary Vp is 12 volt. Output voltage we have to find the secondary one. So we will use turn ratio. Oh, turn ratio. Turn ratio says Ns over Np is equal to Vs over Vp. And we are interested to find this Vs. So it will be Vs is equal to Ns times Vp over Np. So substitute the values. So it will be 200 times 12 divided by 250. So if you calculate this, it will be 200 times 12 divided by 250. You are getting 9.6 volts. C is right here. So dear students, now we are on question 36. Four statements about an atom are listed. The atom has a nucleus surrounded by, not surrounded by positively charged. No, no, no. Electrons are having negative charges. Most of the atom is empty space. Yes, possible. Most of the atom is empty space because here we have a nucleus, then we have a cloud of electrons. This is empty space. The nucleus is positively charged. Yes. The nucleus is very large compared with the rest. No, nucleus is very small. So 2 and 3, I think, is right statement. Yeah, right statement they are asking. So C is right. Moving to question 37. A smoke alarm contains a radioactive source S. The useful emissions from S are blocked by few centimeter of air. So they are talking about radioactive source. Radioactive source. Okay. Alpha rays can be there, beta rays, gamma rays. These are possible. So few centimeter of air blocked by few centimeter, that is only alpha possible to be stopped. What is the useful radioactive radiation emitted by S? If few centimeter of air, it can be used to block useful emissions from S, so it will be alpha only, because alpha is having a very uh, high ionizing ability, but its penetrating power is low, so it can be stopped by thin sheet of paper as well. The planets in the solar system orbit the sun. Which statement is correct? There is force on each planet away from the sun. No, it is towards the sun. This is wrong. There is force on each planet in the direction. No. There is force on each planet opposite to the direction. Not possible. There is a force on each planet towards the sun. Yes. Towards the center. A star is a distance of 4.2 light years from the Earth. Light year is a unit of distance. 4.2 light year in meter. Okay, you have to remember 1 light year is equal to 9.6 times 10 power 15, if I'm not wrong. So you have to remember this in meters. Yeah, it is. Because in kilometer it is 10 power like this. So you have to calculate, my dear students. You will simply multiplying 4.2 with 9.6 times 10 power 15. If I do so, 4.2 times 9.6, I'm getting 40.32 into 10 power 15. So if I shift this here, it will be 4.032 times 10 power 16. So according to this, D is right. What is protostar? Protostar is very initial stage of life cycle of star. Very initial stage of life cycle of star. So a cloud of gas that is collapsing and decreasing, no, temperature increases when protostar collapse. A cloud of star, oh sorry, a cloud of gas that is collapsing and increasing in temperature. Yes, temperature increases and pressure is going to be there in the outward direction. Pressure will be outwards, gravity will be towards. So we are done with this paper, dear students, of October, November 2025, paper 1, variant 1, a very recent paper. We are done with this. So if you find any query, any doubt, or you are struggling with any topic or with any question, you can share that question to me. Definitely, I will be solving that query. Stay blessed. Take care. Bye.